What's up, y'all? I'm still out here at the range, as you can see back behind me on this smoking hot day. Sun is right up above now in full effect, and this humidity is absolutely off the charts. It is a swampy swamp out here today, buddy. Luckily, I'm on the downhill stretch, though. I've gotten a pretty couple of good tests done so far, and I've got one more planned. As you can see, I've got my little shade carrying around to get this one done. It ought to be some pretty interesting 45 ACP. So we got the jelly contraption out here trying to stay cool with the chrono and 2 blocks of gel. Now again, I've done a couple of tests, so as you can see, the back side's kind of tracked up, but this entire front half of both blocks is clear, so shouldn't be any problem getting this one done. Heavy clothing barrier up front, of course, with the layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And what we got for this one here is some stuff that I have tested in the past, but it's been in different weights. We've got the Remington Golden Saber. This is the non-bonded version, and this is the 230 grain version. Now they do make these in 2 different flavors, the bonded and the non-bonded. These are non-bonded. They're brass jacketed HPs. That's what the BJHP stands for. As you can see, here's your cartridge, a nice nickel plated case with that really unique looking brass jacketed HP from the Golden Sabers. Now the 185 grain version of these in standard pressure and plus B did a fantastic job in both my barrel lengths. This right here, on the other hand, I'm a little bit worried about. 230 grains, 875 feet per second is what they're claiming. So y'all know how it is with 45 ACP, especially from a shorter barrel at those velocities. It can get kind of sketchy, but hopefully this big boy here will act like the 185 versions. We've got a couple of different barrel lengths to try them out of. For a shorty here, I've got my G30 with the 3.8 inch barrel, and then I've got my full-size Rock Island Armory 1911 with the 5-inch barrel. So this is another one of those 45 ACP rounds that I really don't have the highest hopes for, but maybe they'll do something out here to prove me wrong. Let's get all this stuff set up and see what happens. All right, let's see what kind of numbers we can squeeze out of these big boys. I'm gonna do a 5-round average from each barrel length, starting with the 1911 first. Now you're gonna see multiple readings from this radar. The large number is at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet. And then I've got the other set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember, this box is saying 875. I didn't see any barrel length. I'm assuming 5-inch, but I'd like to see that, but I don't expect it, sadly. 857. We got the 5 and 7 backwards. 844. 876. We actually hit it right there. 853. And 860, so all over it, and we actually did hit it with one of them. Let's check out the average. All right, so not too bad off from the 875. We had a 5-round average here of 858 feet per second. Extreme spread was 32 with an 11.7 standard deviation. So 858, we did have an 876, so one of them actually hit that velocity. I would guess that they're getting it out of a 5-inch barrel, probably just under the most perfect circumstances known to man, and they got that. But hopefully that's gonna be enough to get this stuff to act right. Let's get it reset and see what the G30 does. All right, let's see what happens when we shrink the barrel down. I got a feeling we're gonna probably lose right much off of this right here. 813, not too bad. 791, 791 again. 819. And 782, so pretty decent loss, not huge though. Let's check out the average. All right, so our 5-round average that time from the G30 was 799 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 38 with a 16.4 standard deviation. I don't know, 799, that just don't sound good for a 230 grain 45 ACP. If you remember out the 1911, it was 858, so you're talking about 59 feet per second faster with that longer barrel. 59 feet per second doesn't sound like a whole lot just based on the extreme spread and all, but we have seen less than that make a pretty big difference in the gel. All that being said, Golden Sabers are a pretty decent projectile, and oddly enough, if from what I can remember, the non-bonded seems to outperform the bonded when it comes to gel performance. So maybe we'll get lucky here, but I still don't have the best hopes. Let's get it all set up. Y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's does the heavy brass have enough gas? Jelly time. We'll put one from each barrel length into the gel, starting with the 1911 first. This one right here should be a good indicator of what we're gonna see from the short barrel. And I'm glad I put them towels at the end because I saw them move down there. Let me go check this out. Never mind, that was just a false alarm. That actually looks surprisingly nice down there. I'm really surprised by what I'm seeing out of that. This right here now, it could be a different story because we're talking about a decent velocity difference between these. All right, not sure what happened with that one. Let's go check it out. All right, let's take a look at this stuff, y'all. Very, very surprising what I'm seeing down here. Really nice performance from this 1911 for sure. Now, from the G30, this is a little sketchy, but we'll look at it here in a second. Both of these would get the job done. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I mean, a 45 ACP FMJ is gonna get the job done. You got a 230 grain chunk of lead rolling through here. It's gonna do something to something. But as far as what we're looking at here, 1911 on the top, as you can see, this one comes in, really nice disruption, immediate expansion, you can tell immediately here. Very nice disruption, energy transfer all the way through this first block. It goes into the second block, probably 3 to 4 inches or so, and then you do have some rebound here. Very nice expansion from this. This is really surprising to get this kind of expansion from that kind of velocity in a 45 ACP. And then of course, down here at the bottom, that's the one from the G30. This one here comes in, definitely gets some expansion. You can tell just from the disruption here. Nice energy transfer once again, all the way through this block. Now this one starts losing some of the jacket. You can tell here, you got some of the brass pedals there. Goes into this second block, and it is exactly the same. I mean, the distance on this is exactly the same. You cannot, there's no way you could even fit a 32nd of an inch between those two. That's exactly the same on the penetration. Now what's not the same is the expansion. This one from the G30 has got some very irregular expansion and not a whole lot of it from what I can tell. Now as far as the penetration on these things, the one up top through the 1911 is at 19 3/4 inches, so absolutely fantastic there, which means the one on the bottom again, I mean they're exactly the same, y'all. 19 3/4 inches from both of those. And here's your close-up look. You can probably get a better idea of what it looks like. You don't have that one behind you. On the top, that's the 1911. As you can see, again, very nice disruption and transfer all the way through this block. Goes into the second block quite a bit, and then you got a pretty good bit of rebound from that one. Really nice expansion from what I can tell. And then again, coming back, that's the one, the bottom, the G30. As you can see here, again, really nice disruption all the way through the first block into the second one. Exactly the same on the penetration, but the expansion is way different. And then up top, I put these things right on top of each other again, so it's a little tricky there. We can get upside down. You can see really nice disruption just from any direction you look at them from both of these rounds. All right, let's check out these projectiles. This right here is where the similarities end for sure. As you can see, that's a huge difference. Obviously, this is from the 1911, this is from the G30. 1911, absolutely perfect expansion. That's pretty much what you can always expect to see from these Golden Sabers. They're not bonded, so your jacket usually always peels more like this, and then the lead comes out behind it. I think the brass jacket might help these Golden Sabers. I believe that that's one of the reasons you can get some expansion even with this low velocity, because this jacket seems to peel back really easy, and I feel like that's giving that lead some room to come out more. But as you can see, it didn't do much for the G30 this time. There you can see it got some pedals opened up, definitely got some broken off there. Probably just a couple of pedals is all the loss you had, because it doesn't look like enough lead pulled out to really lose anything. And then once again, close-up look here of the 1911. That one's perfect. No pedals lost, really nice expansion, just really everything you want to see from a big, fat, slow-moving 45 ACP. But let's get the numbers on them and see what that looks like. So they started at 230 grains. This one from the G30 lost a little bit. It's down to 227.4. I would say it's just nothing but a couple of pedals. And then this one here probably didn't lose much at all. Yeah, that one's at 229.8, so probably no loss or very little crumbs from that one. And then of course the size measurement is going to be quite a difference. We'll start with this from the G30. If we go this direction here, you're looking at like 470. And then if we go this direction here where all the pedals are sticking out, of course, you got much bigger, you got 686. And then this one here from the 1911, much more even expansion. You got 683 and 681, so really nice even expansion there. And there you go, y'all, the Remington Golden Saber non-bonded 230 grain 45 ACP. Really surprising right here. I would have to call this a pass just based on the fact that I'm sure these velocities and all this performance was gotten from a full-size 1911. So in that case, absolute pass. I think that's a complete pass right there. I would have no problem running this if I was just looking for a little lower powered standard pressure 45 ACP. This on the other hand, I mean, you can't really call this a pass. Yeah, it would get the job done and I wouldn't have any problem running this. Now, I wouldn't go seeking this out for this short barrel because there are far better performing options from a short barrel than this, but I don't think that's a total failure. Not a pass by any means, but if you do your job, that right there would get the job done. All right, y'all, we didn't get perfect performance out of both barrel lengths for this one, but I think it's a pretty good way to end out the day of testing. I'm actually pretty surprised we got what we got from this. I really believe it's all because of that projectile. I think that brass jacket peeling back as easy as it does, because you see it almost every time with these Golden Sabers. As long as they do perform, you usually see that jacket peel way back, almost to the point of separation. And I can remember some that I pulled out of the gel and just barely pulled them a little bit and separated them. So I really think that has a lot to do with it. If you can get enough velocity to get that jacket peeled back, I think you've got pretty good luck to get good success with this stuff. Now, that being said, obviously we were right at the edge of that needed velocity with the G30, because that's really not what you like to see. Now, keep in mind that was through the heavy clothing, so we're our worst case scenario out here. Again, I wouldn't have a problem running that through a G30 if that's what I had to run, but I certainly wouldn't go seeking that out on purpose for that barrel length. But let me know what y'all think about it down in the comments. Those of y'all that run 45 ACP, any y'all out there run this Golden Saber, the 230, or do you run one of the 185 options? Let me know in the comments which one you prefer. A quick reminder as always, if you're doing any kind of shopping, check out those affiliate links I've got in the video description. Lots of good stuff down there, and anything you pick up helps the channel, so I really do appreciate that. Huge thanks as always to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've gotten some really good stuff done out here today and tons more on the way, so make sure you stay on the lookout, and in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.